Ever since Sam was a kid, he wanted to get rich. Really, really rich. But not for the reasons you think.
I wanted to get rich not because I like money, but because I wanted to give that money to charity.
Years, his company became one of the biggest in the world, worth over $40 billion, and he's not even 30 years old. Last year, this 29-year-old guy donated $50 million. Next year, he's planning to donate $500 million a year, and next decade, he will probably give
FTX is a perfect example. If this motherfucker was driving a nice fat Lambo and he had a big diamond watch and was living a life which a millionaire should live, I would have trusted him a bunch more. But when he sat there and said, I only drive a Corolla and I give all my money away and I just try and hoard it all to just help people, an alarm went off in my head, because everybody I know who is like this 100% of the time in my human experience ends up being full of shit. Full of shit.
This is how a 30-year-old billionaire filed for bankruptcy and tried to pull off one of the biggest crypto heists in history. So this is Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world, with a value of about $32 billion. And SBF was known as the world's most generous billionaire. He was the 6th largest political contributor and the 2nd largest donor to the Democratic Party, right behind Soros, donating about $40 million for the last election, giving 92% of his donations to the Democratic Party.
Recipients of President Biden's student debt forgiveness plan could see their monthly payments drop up to $300 a month in the coming weeks. But get this, 73% say they actually plan to spend that extra cash on travel and dining out.
And joining us now is CNBC Tech Check co-anchor Deirdre Bosa. So Deirdre, why are people more inclined to spend the money they're saving on non-essentials instead of paying off their bills? I think we may know the answer.
Well, that could be according to one survey, but it could be easy as well for some people to enjoy traveling and eating out rather than worrying about the future. One financial coach tells CNBC.com that you should not use the loan forgiveness only for long-term goals. Your short-term self may get frustrated and give up on planning ahead altogether. So instead, they say make sure your regular bills are paid, check in on your goals, and try to achieve a balance that also lets you invest in your future self.
They should have told me it would be like this, be like this. False prophets. Somebody should have told me it would be like this, be like this, be like this. Somebody should have told me it would be like this. Yeah, false prophets. I got a homie.
Is inside of human nature to constantly get an endorphin rush from becoming more and more powerful. This is why rich men want to become more and more rich. This is why people with fast cars want to drive faster and faster. It's why playboys want more and more girls. It's why that's just human nature. And once you've been powerful for X amount of time and your family's been powerful for as long as you can remember, and you're a billionaire or a trillionaire or whatever you are, the only thing that's going to make you happy and smile is to feel more powerful. So how do you do that? You tell people, put on a mask when you walk in the restaurant, take it off when you eat, put it on when you stand up, take it off when you sit down. This has nothing to do with medical science. This is just pure compliance. This is just ha ha ha. Watch them put it on, put it off, stand up, do the musical chairs. Look at these dummies. Yeah. It's funny. And people don't understand that, oh, it can't just be for that. They didn't ruin all those lives just because it's a joke. Yes, they did. Yeah. You didn't go to your parents' funeral because it was funny. You stayed in your house for months for no reason because it was funny. You lost your business because it made someone else laugh. That's all it was. People sat around in charge of the world and said, fuck them. Let's have a game. Let's see how long this goes on for. Oh, it's been a week. No riots yet. Let's try again. No. A year. No riots yet. Let's up the game. Let's give them an injection. Let's make them all take an injection. Let's text them 7 times a day for an injection for something that has 99.9% chance of not killing them anyway.
Oh man, I want to show y'all something right quick. A couple of people was asking about my borehole and how do I have it set up with my system. The borehole right here My borehole's back here, and I got it connected to my poly tank. But the little unique thing that I have that's a little different than most people that have the system that's off the grid is I connected the power of the pump to the solar panels. And so now the only thing I have to do to fill up my poly tank from the borehole is press some buttons. Most people have to put a water hose up there or something, but just like that, and the water's going to the poly tank right now, coming straight from my borehole, keeping me off the grid. And the power of this power right here that's pushing the pump, that's turning the pump on, is from my solar panels. So we're getting the power of the sun to tap into the water from the earth. And it's keeping me off the grid, keeping me away from a water bill, from a light bill. The buildings are owned, so no mortgage, lease, or rent. And it kind of helped me not compromise on my creativity. It don't make me pressed on getting things done or pressing on my projects. I can take my time and try to make sure they're impactful and come out the way I want to. So that's just a little free gem, a little game for the day. Y'all saw it here. Solar panel pump, hit up my poly tank off the grid. Blessings.
We're giving money to Ukraine because they're fighting Russia. When they're done fighting Russia, you think the money's going to stop? Good. Teo Mesta says clinching. All right, hold it in. I'm going to let you get back to it. Okay, Sean Harris, you're right. Go Navy. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to pay. Get this, guys. Listen. Then we're going to pay to rebuild Ukraine. But remember, if we took that $50 billion chunk and we split it up among all 139,000 public and private schools, K through 12 in America, we could allocate $400,000 to security. Anyway, forget about that. I'm sorry I brought it up. But if we'd given them 60, and who knows by the time this shit's done, what, $100 billion? How many? Remember, you see all them hospitals that got hit, and those apartment buildings, and the bridges, and the roads, and all of their infrastructure. How much you think it's going to cost to rebuild that shit? That $100 billion or whatever we're going to spend on while they're fighting the war is going to pale in comparison. And you have to do it because the people of Ukrainian people are worth more than American people. Do you guys know that by now?
Anyway, this week his company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy because his company, FTX, had a $4 billion hole in their balance sheet, which was triggered by Binance selling their FTT tokens, which is the FTX token. So by having Binance sell all their FTT tokens, they had to get liquidated, which caused them to be bankrupt.
And when you want power, you need unlimited money, so he became infinitely greedy, trying to get as much money as possible to buy political parties, pretend he's doing charitable acts, just to have influence and control over other people, then stands up and goes, I drive an old car and I have a cheap t-shirt. And you know what? You dumb fucks believed him.
We parade our sin. The payment for perversion is already coming. The stock market's crashing. Everything's going down. It's payment. Trust me, they're going to throw off on other things. But this is why it's coming. It's coming because we've opened the door to perversion. And before God would allow his creation to be corrupted that way, he'll bring judgment. And that's what judgment is coming. And I'm telling y'all, it's coming to the point that I want you to prepare your life. I'm not just telling you to prepare your spirit. We can't stop the judgment. I know y'all want to pray about it. Let's just pray it. No, I think we passed that. Thank God it's got to happen. God's gonna do what he gotta do. We're living in the time of it, and we're gonna have to let it happen. So therefore, God's people gotta be prepared. Spend so much time preparing our spirit, but not realize, okay, what if I gotta live? If you woke up tomorrow, the money you got in the bank and your job is gone and the money you got ain't worth nothing, then what? What would you do? What have you done to prepare for anything? Do you have 2 weeks worth for anything for a disaster?